Hello, we're going to make a video, and this video will demonstrate connecting x2go software with the x2go server. And first thing we're going to do is bring up a Windows machine. Now the x2go server, or the x2go software, is used to connect to Linux machines and run GUI applications. So now we've installed the x2go client software. If you haven't seen that, you may need to go back and see the previous video. So what we're going to do now is we're going to find the x2go client software. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on the little tile thing here on Windows 11. And then I'm going to click All Apps. And I'm going to scroll on down until I see the X11 software. And there's a little like folder thing here that indicates there's programs underneath it, and then here's the x2go client. Okay, so the x2go client software has popped up, and first thing that pops up the first time you go in is this screen that says Session Preferences with no information configured. So what we're going to do is we're going to configure this so it will connect in with our x2go server. So for session name, this is just text, and I'm going to put ECE-x2go. Okay, that's the name of the server. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and put in the host name. The host name is ECE-x2go.cc.lehigh.edu, and the login name that we're going to use, I'm going to use a test login name, x00513. Now you would use the login name that you received in your email when you got your new ID. Most likely it will correspond to the Lehigh user ID that you have. There are two valid desktops you can use to log in. One's called XFCE and one is called Mate. And let me see here. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose, in this example, we're going to choose the Mate desktop. Okay. And then my little dialog box is a little bit bigger than my window, so I'm going to scrunch that down a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to click OK. You can now see that it put a little box over here with the machine that I want to connect to. So in order to connect, you'll notice I'm connected to VPN. Since I'm working from home, if you're on campus, you don't need to connect to VPN, but this ECE x2go server is behind the Lehigh firewall, so you need to be on the Lehigh network. And if you're at home, VPN will do that for you. So I'm going to click on the darker bold text here that says ECE x2go, and it's going to pop up, and you're going to see a little login dialog box. And then I type in my password. We'll type in the password there and see where that gets us. Very first time you go in, you're going to get this dialog saying server is unknown. Basically, it wants to give you the public half of an encryption key. Go ahead and click yes. And sometimes it can take a little bit of time before the server actually connects. And you may see a screen that looks like this first time you go in. Want some holes in the firewall, just click Allow Access. You might have to do that more than once. And we'll give it a minute here. Now what the x2go software will do for you is it will give you a much faster response time in terms of getting your graphics back to your computer. And this is what what returns, and this is a desktop on the Linux machine. And what you can do with this desktop is you can go ahead and expand it to the full size of the window to give yourself a little bit more real estate. And in order to get a terminal with the Mate desktop, you can click on Applications, System Tools, and come down and get a terminal. A terminal is something you're going to need to proceed further. You can use the Mate terminal. You can use the XFCE terminal. I prefer, when possible, to use the GNOME terminal. I'll go ahead and double click on that. And I just like the look and feel of the GNOME terminal. Some little tricks to know is that if you want the text to be bigger, if you hold down the Control and the Shift key and you hit the plus sign, that'll make the text bigger. And if you hold, let me do that here. That makes the text bigger. If you just hold down the Control key and hit the minus sign, that'll make the text smaller. Now, the ECE x2go server is kind of a dumb machine in some respects because it doesn't have any applications you can use. You'll have to transfer over to another machine, and we'll show that in the next video. For example, if I type MATLAB here, it'll say command not found because that program's not on this machine. This machine does do some things very well. It will frame buffer the graphics and get the graphics back to your local device very quickly. And so that's the primary purpose of this machine, is to give you a fast and speedy graphical experience on the Linux platform. So that's about all there is. Now, what you always want to do is you want to gracefully leave. So I'll type exit to leave my bash session. And then to leave the x2go session, I'll click on the system and I'll click log out. And then I'll say log out. And it brings me back to the login screen on my desktop. And if I hit cancel, that'll pop that box back up there. That's not necessary, but so anyways, that's all there is in connecting the ECE x2go software to the ECE x2go server. And in the next videos, we'll demonstrate actually logging into different machines and doing some different productive things that you would do for class or perhaps research. So thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful.